Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Elite Real Estate Podcast. Thanks for joining this morning. Looking very excited to another day. For those of you, those of you that are on the call, that are on the dial line, thanks for joining me this morning. For those of you that are on stream, welcome in. Appreciate you guys joining me. Very excited, very exciting few days here up in Detroit. So if you were with us yesterday, so we're heading into day 2 of Build Detroit. So exciting things, very cool stuff that happened yesterday. I'm going to be going over some of those speakers and some of the notes that I had from yesterday, and then today is day 2. So very exciting stuff going to happen today. A lot of speakers going to be on the stage today that I'm very excited for to see what they're going to bring to the table. But man, I'm telling you guys, and we talk about this all the time, but if you're not going to these events, you're missing out. You're missing out very big, because there's so many nuggets from so many people. And I also know, we've talked about this a lot of times on the show, is you have to take a couple things you can implement from, right? A couple things you can implement from these days. There's a lot of information, and it's all great information. There's so many good things that you can take from each speaker that's up there. But then what do I do, right? Because now I've got so many ideas. What do I implement? And I think that's where a follow-up after this, with a coach or a mentor, your team leader, or somebody in your life that you have for that, that's where the follow-up from one of these events comes up. Because then you can just lay all this stuff out and kind of get some advice of, okay, what should I do now? Because I have all this information. It's great. Everybody was amazing. Speakers were great. I had 2 days of just impactful things put on me, and I love it. But now I can't do all these things. I can't do these 10 things. So what do I do? And have somebody help lay that out for you. Because again, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that come out, especially for a 2-day event. We've got EXPCon coming up in October. So again, you're going to have 4 days of content and things that you're going to get. And so what do I do with it? And so I think that's where it becomes very important with a team leader, a coach that you have, somebody that you can sit down, a mentor that you can sit down with and say, all right, I have all these things. What do I do now? But you also have to remember, like, what do I want my business to look like? What things can I take that will immediately affect my business? Because there are those things that you get out of it, and it's going to be different for everyone, because your businesses are at different levels, or they're in different directions, or they're structured differently, or you just have a different idea than somebody else does, and that's okay, right? It's your business; it's not anybody else's. So I say all that to say this: just when you get all this information, it's a ton of information, but take it back to someone, get some advice on it, get some help on it. What should I do? How should I do it? What should I implement first? And go from there. So again, that was so day 1. I'm going to go. Oh, but before I do that, I have to say, Sherry, I don't know if Sherry's on the call or if she's watching. But Sherry, who's one of our veteran, she's a veteran herself. She's a big advocate for our veterans, and I salute them. But I have to say, because I complimented so much on Lisa LaRue's coffee mug, that Sherry brought me a coffee mug yesterday to build. So from the Black Rifle Coffee Company, I got a Grenade coffee mug now. So I'm going to take a little drink out of that. So Sherry, I know I told you it wouldn't go to waste, that I would use this mug. And I thought it was very interesting that Lisa LaRue, who was my guest last week, Lisa LaRue got from Sherry a smiley face mug. Right. And I complimented it on that last week. So she got a smiley face mug. I got a Grenade. So if you can't see it on camera, that's okay. But for those of you that know, it's a Grenade mug that I got. And it works fantastic, if I can say so myself. So Sherry, thank you very much for the mug. I really appreciate it. It will get good use for sure. So I usually have, so as you see, if you're watching this, so as you go through the day, so I have 2 mugs over here. So I have coffee and water, and I try to find some balance here. That's the only balance I find in the life. But so yesterday, and I'm gonna get to you breakfast clubbers here in a minute, because I want some feedback from you all here in a minute about yesterday, and I want to get some feedback about what your thoughts were about yesterday, and what you think about today, and what's the most exciting thing for today, as we're doing this. So yesterday, the day started off with John Kitchens, and I got my phone up, but I have my notes on here. So yesterday started out with John Kitchens, and man, if you guys aren't following John Kitchens on social medias, following his podcast, the Coach's Podcast, and the things that he brings to the table, it's pretty amazing. It's some pretty amazing stuff. And so you have to get on there with John. His podcast is amazing. He speaks at a very high level from real estate, but also mindset stuff, right? Like, how do I overcome these things? How do I overcome the daily grind of this business, and all the things that come along with this? So a lot about mindset, a lot about how overcoming things and all that. So if you didn't see John Kitchens yesterday, you can catch him in a lot of places, right? So John Kitchens started off. Then we had Brian Ellington. And Brian Ellington is the Chief Learning Officer for EXP. And he spent time with Keller Williams. He spent time with Century 21 and building out their training modules and things that he did. Now, and I've had the privilege of speaking to Brian Ellington a couple different times in some one-on-one sessions that I've had with Brian. And man, he speaks with such accuracy. If that makes any sense, he speaks with such accuracy and tonality, and you just the smarts for the guy is incredible. And his thought process behind things, is not anything off the cuff. It is very well thought out. It's like a surgeon, I would say. Like, he speaks like a surgeon. Like, it's very precise and accurate, and it's one of those things that you always I get to speak a lot. I have a podcast. I get to talk to a lot of people. I get to be in front of crowds a lot. But he's not off the cuff, so makes it very interesting. But the things that he's brought to EXP's university platform are amazing. And there's some things that you guys haven't even seen yet that I've had the privilege of seeing that are on the horizon. So a lot of cool stuff going to be going with that. He's got a Kickstart program. He's got a Zero to Cap program. He's got some things that are being beta tested right now that are very incredible things going forward. So if you are with EXP or not, it doesn't matter. Reach out to me and let me know, and we can talk about what those look like, because they are going to be extremely helpful for you in the future. So so that was Brian Ellington yesterday. Then we had the firecracker Amy Gregory on, and she's built this massive organization via social media, and how to do this through social media. And I think one of the most poignant things she said yesterday was stop telling yourself you don't have time to do this stuff. Stop saying you can't. Stop saying you don't. Stop saying that, well, other people do it, but I can't. Stop saying those things, and just put a plan together, but stick to the plan. And her message is about consistency and staying in front of things, social media wise, and all those things, and how to do that. But again, stop making excuses about the things that you can't do, and start doing things, right? And hers was social media and staying in front of things like that. So Amy Gregory got up there and absolutely crushed it with that. Then we had Randy Gammo, who, again, shout out to Randy. Randy did a great job yesterday on stage speaking about mortgage rates and what's happening in the industry. And not only that, so Randy brings an interesting perspective, because he's done he does mortgages at a very high level. Shout out to NMHL. So he does mortgages at a very, very high level. If you haven't used NMHL, you should give them a try. And then, but Randy's also done real estate at a very high level. So I say these things because it's a very interesting perspective. I got my start in the industry on the mortgage side and went into the real estate side. Randy started on the mortgage side, got into real estate while he was doing mortgages and was doing both at a very high level, and then focused on just mortgages. So Randy was amazing yesterday. And then we had Louis Galt again, and again as I'm going down this list and I'm re-saying the people that were on stage yesterday. I'm a little bit blown away by who was there yesterday and who was on stage and the things that they brought to the stage. It was just absolute fire. And Louis always brings fire to the stage and did again yesterday. And then we had the first panel, who was moderated by Marissa Morello. And then she had Kim, Nicole, and Nikki on. And these ladies were talking about hosting events. And I think it's interesting how real estate has evolved into what it is, right? It's a social networking space, and these ladies do it at a very high level from hosting events. Kim has her Knowledge is Power series that she does. I'm actually going to be speaking at Knowledge is Power with her this month. And so the Knowledge is Power thing is huge here in Michigan, and so is they're all in Michigan, and it's all great stuff. It's all incredible stuff, and they explained that again. How do I even start hosting these things? How does it work? How does it work out? What does it do for you? But more importantly, and I think this was the message that I took away from the three of them yesterday, the four of them, because Marissa's doing it at a very high level too. So the four of them, the message that I took away yesterday was that it is the follow-up after, right? You host an event, you have people in, and everybody says, "Oh my gosh, I love this event. Everything's great." But then what do you do after that? Right? Like why if you have another event, why would someone come back to your event? What was the reasoning to do this? And what is the follow-up for the event? Like and that was one of the things that they kind of went into yesterday, very deeply about what the follow-up was with those events. And I thought that was just a very, very interesting thing. And then after that, we had Mark Z on stage. Mark was amazing talking about investing, right? And how long do you want to be in the grind of real estate? Meaning, how long do I want to be doing open and lock boxes and hosting open houses and all those things? So it's some things that some of you agents don't think about because you are in your mid-20s and heck, I'm just doing the real estate, right? I'm having fun and I'm doing real estate. But, as you start to get older, you start to think about, well, how can I take this, what do I do for the next level, right? How do I level up? How do I extend what I'm doing with my business? How do I make this better? And how do I expand and build on my business outside of just real estate? Because again, we also know that the markets shift and things happen, and we go through slow phases and busy phases and all those things, and weather affects us. And again, it doesn't matter. So funny too. I'm going to go off a little bit here, but it's funny about the market things. I talked to an agent yesterday, Max, who was up from Florida for Build, and it's in Florida. It's slowed a little bit right now because it's hot. It's right. It's they don't have winter like we have. It slows in winter for us a little bit. But it slows for them when it's hot. So funny story. But Mark Z, shout out to Mark again. Thank you for all that knowledge you dropped yesterday about. And again, the cautions too of investing, right? There's cautionary tales of investing, and Mark has some of those too, right? Not everything I just put $1 in and get $5 back. It doesn't always work like that, right? Sometimes I put $5 in and I get $0 back, and that hurts. But there's cautionary tales about investing. That's why it's good to vet out what you're doing, know what you're doing, look at your numbers, and again, it's always a risk. There's always a risk reward when you're talking about investing. But again, it's really hard to swing and miss at real estate. There's cautionary tales along the way with everything. So just know your numbers, know what your averages are, and on those kind of things before you start investing. And then we had Phil Stringer. And man, Phil, your story yesterday, and Phil's a great friend of mine, and I think his message probably landed the hardest, and I think it was because of the story. And the story, and if you don't know Phil's story, check out Phil Stringer. You can find it at philstringer.com. I think you can find Phil everywhere. I don't know if you'll actually be talking to Phil or if it's an AI bot, but whatever. You'll get a hold of Phil somehow. But one of the things that is really cool is that Phil shared his story, but I think the message that landed with me the most with Phil was, even when people are smiling, they still could be having a hard day, right? And people's faces hide what they're going through, and how a smile or a hug could change someone's total day. And that, I mean, just landed hard with me, because it's so true. I was with some of the speakers last night after the event, and we talked about that, and how what we do every day is not, it's not life or death situations, but at the same point, we're handling people's biggest biggest asset, right? Their biggest asset, the biggest thing that they've saved money for. The American dream is a home ownership and all that. So that's the dream, is the home ownership piece. And how do I, and then we're guiding them through that. But I think Phil's message yesterday was so strong about, you don't know what other people are going through. So just be nice. Right? I mean, it sounds pretty simple. It sounds pretty simple, but really that's kind of what it boils down to. Hugs and smiles are good stuff. And then we had Chris Voss, who closed the day out yesterday. And in closing the day out yesterday, I mean, guys, who went home? Who went home? If you guys that are on camera can see me do this. But who went home and put their thumb up and their opposite finger out, and then switched it, and then switched it, and then switched it, right? So these synapses and the things that fire in your brain, and I was very impressed with some agents afterwards yesterday that got a chance to talk to Chris Voss, and said, what do you love about this? Which for those of you that have seen Chris before, or have read his book, or have taken his master class. I've taken the master class. It was very cool, and I think it's about asking more questions, but that what question, I think, is amazing, and it makes you think, and it takes people back to a place where, and again, he brought up, the old days of sales. It used to be like, climb the yes ladder, right? Get them to say yes enough times that then when you ask them for the micro commitments, once you get through all the micro commitments, bam, you hit them with the big one, and they had said yes so many times, they just say yes again, and now you got them sold. Boom, it works. That's old school. Okay, that's boiler room stuff. So, but what the what question is very, very cool. The what question is very cool. What do you love about, and think about this, guys. Like, I know we've got other people than just real estate agents on here, but it is whatever you do, whether it's real estate, or some other entrepreneurial thing, whatever it is that you do. If I were to walk up to you and say, what do you love about real estate? What would be your answer? And whatever that answer is can become your value proposition. And we've talked highly about this value proposition as we move forward with this lawsuit, and we're trying to figure out what we should be doing with right buyers. Like, why would a buyer use me over another? Why would a buyer use me as an agent over another agent? What's my value proposition? And we've talked about this on the show and on the call a lot. What the value proposition, yes, is very important, and why they would choose you, and then how do you come up with a value proposition? What does it look like? And think about that question, guys. Think about that question. Why do you love real estate? And I think that will start to lead you kind of what your value proposition is, and go from there. And that is amazing to me, that those things are what they are. So again, so that was day one. Day two, the preview of day two. But before we jump to day two, I got the Breakfast Club. You guys are on. If you star unmute yourself, we'll get you on. And I want some feedback from our Breakfast Club agents. So just hit star, unmute yourself, say hello, and I want some feedback from what you guys thought of day one of build, and what you took away from it, because that I took away what I went through. Lisa LaRue just said we're practicing, right? Everybody's practicing the point, the thumb, right? So good stuff. And but I want to know, just so on the Breakfast Club, just star unmute yourself, say hello. And I want to know what you guys got out of yesterday. What did you take away? What was a good takeaway from anybody? And Sharon, I see you unmuted yourself.
Hey, good morning, everybody. There was so much to take in, and I like how you just kind of, were able to boil it down and just give a little bit of overview of all of the speakers. But first of all, I love being able to meet, a lot of you, people that I haven't had a chance to meet before, because I live in Georgia. And I'm super excited to be back in Michigan because I grew up in Dearborn and haven't lived here since the 80s. So it's interesting to see how everything is different and changed. But yesterday was amazing, and it just kept getting better and better throughout the day. And got a chance to hang out with some of my new friends last night, and looking forward to our 11 o'clock breakfast clubber get together this morning. So just super excited.
Awesome. I love that. Sharon, thank you for sharing. And again, yeah, guys, Sharon's in town from Georgia. Joined us here. I am looking forward to the 11 o'clock meetup as well. Very excited to see somebody. I ran into Tanya yesterday. I saw a couple people, and it was amazing to see everybody. And I'm very excited about the 11 o'clock meetup today. So very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. So appreciate it. Yeah, I think I think like the impact you can have on one another kind of goes back to what Phil was talking about yesterday too. The impact you can have on one another. And one of the things that somebody asked Chris Voss yesterday after speaking about, what do you love about this, about what we're able to do today, basically. And his answer was simple. His answer was the networking. It's being around people. It's human nature is we want to be around other people. We want to hang out with people. Like we want to find our people. We want to hang out with them. It doesn't matter about anything else. Like I want to find my people that I can find a level playing field with. And even if it's not a level playing field, it depends on what the level playing field looks like to you, right? I find it interesting that the level playing field for us kind of is real estate. But at the same point, then we get to hang out, and you just find good people. And when you find good people, you just hang out with them. It's pretty simple. I mean, it seems like pretty simple. It's not always that simple, but it seems pretty simple. So great stuff. And anybody else on the Breakfast Club have a recap from yesterday? Just hit star. You'll unmute yourself, say hello, and we'll go from there. But the yesterday's recap was good. I think there was a lot of information yesterday, and as this is going through today, I'm gonna highlight here in a second what's happening for today, and go from there. So today's lineup is pretty cool. So let's see. Sandy says so many good takeaways from yesterday. Amy Gregory, amateurs wait to love what they do, and experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. Man, I'm going to say that again. So if you guys didn't hear that, Amy Gregory, amateurs want to love what they do, and experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. Pretty deep message. Pretty deep message for sure. And it's so good, right? It's so good. Amateurs want to love what they do, and that's it. But then it kind of goes. It's how I can tie all this back together, with what Chris Voss said is, why do you love what you do? Why do you love real estate? And if you don't know that answer, that's a problem. But if you don't, that's a problem. But also, experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. So you can love real estate, but also what needs to get done in real estate. What needs to get done for your business to build and thrive and do all those things. So very excited stuff. Very excited about this stuff. Then today to preview today, you've got this guy Jimmy Nelson, who's actually starting us off today. Hopefully he doesn't fumble the ball and mess up, but here we are. No, I'm very excited. I'm very humbled and blessed to be speaking today. This lineup today, nothing like, hey, I got asked to do this, and I was super excited and humbled to be able to do this and speak in front of you guys, in front of everybody. But then I look at the lineup today. So I started off. Then we have Justin Ford right after me, and then Eric Orland after that. Then we have the amazing Russ Lagan after that. Then you have Robert Courtney. Then you have Tina Call. And then, guys, it doesn't get any lighter. You have Nolly Williams coming from Texas, Austin Chevron, and then the amazing Chuck Fazio. And then the panel of the day. Listen to this. It's moderated by Michelle Sayward. Exciting stuff. Austin Potas is on, Ken Hirschman and Al Adala. Guys, it's about teams, right? And I mean, look at those guys are doing their teams at such a high level. It's crazy. That panel is amazing. And then to wrap up the day, you've got the amazing Lisa LaRue, about 4:20. Lisa's going to be on. Then you have Albie Stasic and then Mike Sherrard. So, guys, listen, this lineup today is not, everybody, it's not. If you don't get stuff out of today while you're there, oh man, like there's going to be so much knowledge drop today. I'm very excited for Lisa. I was talking with Lisa and hanging out with Lisa last night. And I'm very excited for Lisa to be speaking today. I'm very excited about her presentation, and pumped about seeing her up there. So very cool stuff. And again, that lineup today, holy cow, man! Again, should be a lot of stuff dropped today, and we'll know. You're going to learn so many things. And again, I want to reiterate, guys, it's very important when you're taking these notes and you're trying to figure out what I should do, what shouldn't I do, what should I take out of this. Take one or two things out of each day and start implementing them into your business slowly, right? But implement them. Implement something. Even if it's only out of the 2 days, even if you only get one thing out of the 2 days, implement that one thing. And then boil it down to the ridiculous. And then what I want you to do is if Amy Gregory's presentation landed with you, and you were like, man, that just boom, it just hit me, right? It just hit me. What I want you to do is then reach out to Amy Gregory. I challenge you all, everybody on the call who's over here, and everybody that's was at Build yesterday, and everybody that's going to be at Build today. I challenge you all that when one of these speakers hits you in the face with some knowledge that you just are like, wow, that just punched me right in the face. And I want to do that. What I challenge you then to do is to reach out to that speaker. And whether that's via social media, whether that's going up and grabbing them at the event today, right after they're done, whether that's reaching them through, again, social medias or finding out. But I challenge you all, when something hits you in the face like that, and you're like, man, wow, that just landed. Go talk to that person. Find that person. If you get a chance to meet them while you're at the event, do that. Grab them while they're there. And have a conversation with them and talk to them and tell them why this landed. Why did this hit you so hard? Why did that message hit you so hard? What can you do? And then just follow up, right? Like have this thing with them and just have a conversation with them and talk to them about why this landed. Because guys, listen, it landed with us and who are speakers. It landed with that speaker at some point before. So it landed with one of these speakers before. That's why they're speaking about it. And if that's something that they're implementing into their business, or if it's something that they've learned, I go back to the Phil Stringer story yesterday, right? Like Phil just learned the AI and knew it was going to help his team, and knew he could impact his team and help his team stay in front of this stuff with the AI. Turned into, he needed to learn about the AI stuff, which now has elevated him to this specialist for AI. And I think it's a really cool story that he did it out of. He didn't do it out of the idea of, I wanted to be smarter than everybody. He did it out of the idea of he needed to help his team out, and he needed to help them figure out this AI thing because he knew it would impact their business. And he knew this. So he took the time to learn it, to then give that information away, right? To then take what he had and give it away. And I, so that was a big one for me too. And I want to also say, I'm just checking back on my notes. I want to say, as John Kitchens was going through his presentation yesterday, you guys can see behind me my buffalo, right? My buffalo. Shout out to the Tea Party for the buffalo bookends, but my buffalo bookends, and because the buffalo mindset to me is huge. It's all right. We're gonna do this thing together, and if you guys don't know the story of the buffalo, and I know John touched on it slightly yesterday, but if you haven't heard the story of the buffalo yet, the story of the buffalo is the buffalo. If there's a storm coming, and animals can sense these things, and buffalo are free ranging bison, and they're free ranging, and so, but the buffalo, if a storm is coming in, and there's cows and there's buffalo, the cows will run away from the storm. Okay, the cows will run the other direction. They'll run away from the storm. Now, what happens is in that storm, then, is the storm stays with the cows much longer, because they're trying to run away from it, but they're not fast enough to run away from the storm. The storm's going to catch them. But what happens is they're trying to run away, and that they stay in the storm a lot longer because they're trying to run away from it. Now, the cool thing about the buffalo is the buffalo run toward the storm. Okay? And the reason they run toward the storm is because they get through it faster. So if the storm is coming at you and you run toward it, you get through that storm a lot faster than you do trying to run away from it. So I love that analogy, and I love it towards business, and I love it towards real estate specifically, but entrepreneurship in general, because we do face these storms from time to time. Now, if we try to run away from the storm, we stay in it longer. It gets harder because we've stayed in it longer, and we're missing out on all the other things because we're stuck in this storm for so long. Now, on the other side, if we run toward it and we face those fears that we have, and I use air quotes for fears, we face those fears that we have, and we run through them, and we run toward that storm, we get through it much faster because we just faced it head on. So the buffalo, and the analogy of the buffalo is just that. The buffalo run toward the storm and not away from it, and they run toward it because they get through it faster. So I want you to think about that, and that's one of the things when John put that up there. The buffalo is true, and that's why I have it right up here behind me on my bookshelf. And I thank the Tea Party for that. So I appreciate it. That was amazing yesterday. Today again is going to be great. Breakfast Club, like, why you guys got you here on the line too? Who's looking forward to today? Lisa, I see you unmuted yourself.
Hey, Timmy. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm obviously completely excited for today. Yesterday was amazing, and thank you for the recap. That was really good, and I actually pulled out a few extra things because of your recap. I have so many notes, and it's just amazing, all of the things. But I got to spend some time with Brian Ellington last night after the event, and he is such an amazing person. Very smart, very, like you said, calculated the way he speaks, and just down to earth, great guy. And the thing that I really took away from all of it is everyone is just an average person like us. But they're doing great things. And the best part is they want to lift us up with them. They want to bring us along, and you could just feel that. They're so open and willing, and it just felt like a bunch of friends hanging out at the event, honestly. So I'm excited, obviously, and I think if you don't have a ticket, I think you should still come right now. There's still time to jump on and hang out with us today, because it's going to be another great day.
Yeah, Lisa, I think you're spot on with what you said about Brian and how calculated he is. But again, how much everybody's giving back, and how much everybody's putting into. Well, first of all, the event in itself. Like, let's give a big shout out to Kurt Shewell and his team, and Brooke, Marissa, everybody behind the scenes. You guys know how good of a friend Kurt and I are. So I know some of the behind the scenes things that happen when you put on these big events, and it's hard. It's a lot of work and effort and time that I don't know if an event this size is hard. You have 20, I think you had 28, 29 speakers in total. You're trying to keep everybody happy. You're trying to put everybody in the right slots. You're trying to build out what the day should look like and go from there. So those are all big things. But so a big shout out to Kurt Shewell. His impact team with Brooke and everybody, and Marissa and all the folks. We really appreciate everything you bring in this event to Detroit, and you being the front person for us here in Michigan. And it's so cool to see this. And again, I got to spend some time. I've had the chance to spend some time with Brian Ellington in some one-on-one, some Zooms. And it's funny, when I saw him yesterday, he's like, he didn't really recognize me at first. And he's like, because I'm not looking at you in a little box on my computer. So apparently I'm a lot taller in person than I am on a computer. So but yeah, like the things that are just getting poured into us, I think just need to be recognized. I mean, they are what they are. So, but I appreciate the fact that this is getting put on for us, and that we get to be at something like this at this level. Because again, not a lot of places do this. Not a lot of places you get to do stuff like this. And typically, a lot of times when people get to certain levels in their career, whatever you want to say that is, whenever they get to certain spots in their career, they kind of forget about how they got there. And I think one of the things that this build has shown us is that as a testament to those people that are there speaking and doing their thing, the testament is that they're giving back, they're pouring back into the people, and are spending time with everyone and doing things the right way. So Super cool stuff for Build the last couple of days. Lisa, I'm very excited for you today, and can't wait to see you talk later on this afternoon. So yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, so Breakfast Club, who else? Who else is looking for forward to today? Is there or recap from yesterday? Which one? Just hit star. You'll unmute yourself, say hello, and then we can go from there. But yeah, I'm very excited about today. Yesterday was absolute fire. Today is going to be the same, and I hope that you guys are all getting something out of what's on deck, right? And I know one of the things that I actually took away from yesterday, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, but one of the things that I took away from yesterday is we've been talking so much about this NAR settlement and what's going to happen in the future. And sorry, but Sherry, I'm getting another drink out of my grenade. But so many things are happening about this NAR thing, and we've talked about contracts and paperwork and all the things. And one of the things that I actually took away from yesterday was we didn't talk about that a lot yesterday. It got brought up a couple times. But really the speakers that we had yesterday didn't really talk about it. They talked about changes and things that are happening, and that's part of what's happening, and that's part of just the thing, right? That's just part of what's happening in our industry right now. Our industry's constantly been under this flux of change. It has been. It is what it is. We've panicked about all these things. And the cool thing yesterday was it was more about what value are you bringing to the industry? What value can you provide to your client? What are you putting out? What you put out into the world is what you get back. So those messages are all true and they ring true. Now you can relate them to this paperwork change and the documents that are going to be different. You can relate it to all of that for sure. And talking about your value and how do I affect clients and how do I do those things. So it can all be part of it. It all is part of what this is. But I really kind of yesterday, there wasn't a lot of chatter talk about that exact thing, right? There wasn't a lot of chatter about, oh my gosh, I have this paperwork now to do. It was more about how do I cultivate relationships, build my business, take it to the next level by doing these things. And again, everybody talked about different things. So taking those things that resonate with you and putting them into action will build your business. And part of that is this NAR lawsuit and the things that are changing. And that's okay. But it was more about what value do I provide? And I'm going to bring up what Sandy wrote about from Amy Gregory. Amateurs want to love what they do and experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And think about that on this lawsuit idea and the things that have changed recently from the standpoint of our paperwork and this buyer's agency. And so think about that. I want you guys to think about it. I'm going to read this quote again, and I want you guys to let that quote marinate for a second, and then I'm going to say something else. So amateurs want to love what they do, and experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. Our paperwork just changed. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And experts need to learn to love what needs to be done in their business. And what needs to be done in their business right now is we change paperwork. That's really it. We're changing how we're presenting an offer. We've talked about, making sure that you start treating your buyers like you do your sellers. Have buyers consultations. Ask questions. Start talking about things. Talking about what is it that I need to do moving forward. And think about that. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. Now, Amy wasn't talking specifically about these changes, but think about that. Think about that quote, and then think about that Buffalo mindset that John Kitchens brought up. That's reminded right over my shoulder here. Run towards the storm. You're going to get through it faster. Stop avoiding it. It's coming anyway. It's inevitable. So why try to run away from it and stay in it longer? Run toward it, run through it, be done with it, do what you have to do. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. That's it. It's simple. It's not, we have a tendency to overthink this. We get panicked, we get fear. The media doesn't help, right? Social media doesn't help. You've got agents out there running rogue. You've got agents out there promoting fear, saying, oh, I'm just going to be a listing agent now. Who cares about these buyers? Well, buyers care about buyers, right? People that are in the market to buy a home care about these things. So yes, I'm still going to do what I'm going to do, right? Do I need to get another paper sign? Sure. Yep, 100%. Got to get another paper sign. Okay. You know, it's funny, you guys who've had closings recently and or at any time really, and I think about the clients will ask me from time to time, like, well, we signed all this electronically, signed all this stuff electronically. I'm like, I know, but that was for something else. This is for closing, right? So again, it's having that mindset. But yeah, guys, experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business, and that means getting these buyer contracts signed and learning what they mean. And I think Nick Coppola, our state broker here in Michigan, always has said, you should print off the documents and read them. And for those of you that aren't in Michigan, I challenge you guys to do the same thing with your state broker, because Nick's challenge was print off the document, print off these papers, print them out, read them. And as you're reading them, if there's something you don't understand in that, if there's some verbiage or something that doesn't sit with you, it doesn't make sense, doesn't do whatever, highlight it, go see your state broker, ask them about that piece you don't understand. And think about how much more powerful your business will be by learning the document. Think about how much stronger it is when you can go in and just clearly explain to someone what these mean. Think of the confidence that you'll be building inside of yourself to be able to have these conversations with people, right? The confidence that you're going to be building up with this idea of, heck, I know what's on these contracts. And when you have this agent on the other side who kind of fumbles and misses and doesn't know what to do with some of these contracts, and you can go, hey, on number 17, this A, B, and C, right? I know what that is. Think about how important that is going forward in your business. So I challenge you guys to that. Print out the documents. If there's something you don't know, go to your state broker and have them explain it to you. And see, and again, become that subject matter expert. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again because, to be honest, I didn't, when I first, even this morning, when I first read this quote, I remember Amy saying this yesterday. And then when I first read this quote this morning, when Sandy put it on here, when Sandy shared that amateurs want to love what they do and experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And I think this lands so hard with me right now this morning that I've put this together with this NAR lawsuit and the paperwork that's changed for us going forward, and just ending this part with experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And heck, you know what I think? I think we need to make some t-shirts. That's what I think. Hopefully Amy doesn't mind. Maybe she'll get some residuals from it. Who knows? And Lisa agrees with me. That's right, Jimmy. So think about that. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And it's so true. And it's so true, especially with what we're going through right now. There is change happening, and it's okay. Things change, things move. Our business is going. And again, guys, it's August 2nd today. We could see more changes before the 17th. We got 15 more days. We could see changes before the 17th. And then guess what? By the end of the year, we could see more changes. So think about that. Don't be so scared about it. Experts learn to love what needs to be done to thrive in their business. And it's a very important time for us in our business right now to continue to learn, to grow, to build our business, and then be able to thrive in our business moving forward. So don't be afraid of all this stuff. If you guys were at Build yesterday, again, amazing day. Crazy stuff yesterday. Going to be some more crazy stuff today, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be able to be speaking at the event today. Super excited. Hope you guys get to catch it at 12. If you're not out there at 12, you can't not be out there at 12. So I'm taking the stage at 12 to kick us off today, and I have to bring some energy, get everybody moving today, and it's going to be a great day. So I want to say that I appreciate you guys all jumping in. Breakfast Club, I want one of you to chime in here and give me something. Just hit star on your phone. Look at your phone, hit star. You'll unmute yourself. The crazy thing is, guys, during the week I can't keep you guys muted. I can't keep you guys muted during the week. And now today I can't get you to talk. Amazing stuff. And I love feedback, right? So I want feedback from yesterday. Who had some good things about yesterday and who's looking forward to today? And again, just hit star on your phone, unmute yourself. Jeff Garner, go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
All right. So yesterday was amazing, right? So many good speakers. Phil Stringer was just off the hook. He poured his heart and soul into that story, because that's true life, what he's dealing with. And these are the struggles all of us face, not necessarily that one, but we all face struggles all the time. And these people are coming here to pour into us. Kurt set up one hell of a lineup that is just unbelievable. And why? You hear about all these agents, or at least since I've been in the business, that have left the company and think that they're going to get better elsewhere. We got to have the best collaboration out there, and people that aren't diving in and taking advantage of this for like what, $50 you could have got a discount ticket for. That means they're not investing in their careers. And then you hear that, I need to learn more. I need to get more involved. Yeah, no shit. Get up in the morning. Get on these calls every day. Go to these events. Like Lisa, she's speaking on this stage today because she's put herself in rooms with bigger people. So proud of Lisa. She's amazing. If you're not getting to these events, people, you are really missing the ball.
Love it, Jeff. You're right. Getting yourself in the room. We've heard it from Kurt. We've heard that message from Kurt. Kurt has told us time and time again, get in the room, have the conversation, talk to people. And Jeff, I think you're right. I mean, the Phil story yesterday, if you guys missed it, it's a phenomenal story. It's a dang movie is what it is. But I feel, we all have struggles. We all have things that we fight and our battles, and a lot of those are internal, just with ourselves. And it's our internal battles that we deal with all the time. And again, it's okay. We all have them, right? So I say that all to say that, again, go back to what Phil said, find somebody, smile, give them a hug, have a conversation with people, just be nice, because we're all going through something. And Jeff, I agree with you 1,000% on getting in the room, having the right conversations with people, surrounding yourself with those close. And that might be what I'm talking about today. We'll see. But to give you guys a little sneak peek, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to be talking about our circle of influence and how it helps your business, how it can build your business and elevate your business by having conversations and surrounding yourself with the right people. So you guys are getting a little taste, a little small little biscuit of what I'm going to be going over. But how this can take your business to a whole nother level is just by being around the right people and having conversations with people about those things that you're going through. Because we have a tendency to hide some things that we're going through, and it's okay. But at the same point, when you can share those things and get them out, it helps because everybody's going through something, right? It might not be, exactly what Phil went through. It might not be exactly what Jeff has gone through. It might not be exactly something that I've gone through, but we've all gone through something. So don't sleep on the fact that people aren't going through stuff. We all go through stuff. And you guys have all heard Kurt's story with his daughter and the things that happened there. So again, everybody's gone through something, right? And it's how the blessing of getting through those things, and you get through those things by surrounding yourself with the people that care about you, that want to see you do good, and that want to give you a hand up and not a hand out, that will push you and pull you and help you get to those places that you want to be. So super excited about today, guys. Listen, so 3-5, the coaching company that we have, 3-5. So when you go into the event today, the 3-5 table is right there to your right. What I want you all to do, there's some QR codes out there. So we've put together a special package for you all. It's an EXP special package that we've put together for everyone. Scan that QR code, and you're going to get into our coaching platform with 3-5 with us, and you're going to get into that. We are running a super, we're like giving it away. So it's a super discount. But you're going to get a ton. But stop by that desk today. Scott will be out there today with me. So stop by the 3-5 thing. We also have an event coming up next Wednesday on the east side at Mac and Ray's. There's also a QR code on the 3-5 desk table for that. For that event, you can register for that event today. That's a free event next Wednesday. It's going to include breakfast. It's the first ever that we know panel cast that we will be moderating for the agents that we're going to have up on this panel. We're going to be doing a panel cast. We're going to be interviewing them live, putting them on like the old hot seat, and having some conversations for them. So it's going to be a little bit different panel than you've ever seen before. And that's next Wednesday, the 7th. Kim's Got Knowledge is Power coming up on the 15th. If you haven't seen that, search for Kim Ajami on Eventbrite. Look up her Knowledge is Power. That's coming up on the 15th. Kim and I on the 15th are going to be talking about the NAR settlement. How do I have these conversations with my buyers? What does it look like going forward? And then I got some more announcements coming up after that I will be speaking on stage in a couple other spots. So super excited things, a lot of things coming up, guys. I really appreciate you all. I want to thank you for joining me again this morning. Breakfast Club, you guys never disappoint. I will see you all in a couple hours, which is very cool because as we're wrapping up here, things are awesome. Things are fantastic. And but the cool thing is, guys, listen, that Breakfast Club, we're going to see you all at about 11 o'clock at UWM to take some photos, some photo ops. We're going to talk about that stuff, and can't wait for it. It's going to be really cool stuff, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for joining me on the Elite Real Estate Podcast. Lisa LaRue, Jeff Garner, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate the feedback. Sandy, thanks for writing some stuff over here. I thank you guys so much. We are all stoked for today. Guys, listen, be good or be good at it. I will talk to you all next Friday.